Hey everyone, so this episode with Shannon was recorded like years ago. I know I had her on, like 2 or 3 times, and this was one before then that didn't work. And the only reason it didn't work is because I had a software on iMovie that I used where when I would try to dim out the audio of like the background noise and everything, there was like probably once every 30 or 40 times that I tried to do that where it would just make my voice sound like an echo. So I didn't release it then. So now I'm just going to release it without the like audio frozen in the background. I was a perfectionist back then, so yeah, it's a whole different thing. So yeah, enjoy.
Welcome to another episode of DD on the Spot. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Johnson. And before we get into it with our guests, well, first of all, everyone should recognize our guests if you're a longtime listener of the podcast. We have Shannon back on again now, 3 weeks out from her newest show. She won her pro card before we talked through her the last time. She hadn't won it yet, so we'll have something to talk about. But yeah, just to give us an update on what she's been up to, and most importantly, she's our current guest. Shannon, thank you so much for coming back on.
You're welcome, Ryan. It's good to be back on.
This question to every single damn guest. What is the weather like in California right now?
Well, actually, it's smoky. It's actually, the temperature-wise, it's not that bad, but we've had a lot of fires. I live in Central California. We've had a lot of fires in Northern California. So we've been kind of like, it's not the best air. So, I'm waiting for some rain to come.
Yeah, I mean, luckily there were some wildfires in Canada that affected us a little bit here in Minnesota, but it wasn't really too bad. So I've had some nights where I couldn't go out for a run or anything like that just because of the air. But I mean, obviously it's been over a year since we last talked to you, and I mean, what have you been up to since then? I mean, obviously with COVID and everything that's been going on, being that you're working education and just with bodybuilding too. I mean, what is this whole last basically like year and a half since we last had a podcast with you?
It's been an interesting last year and a half. I mean, I work in education, so I remember we all started at home doing the virtual learning, and so we were kind of cooped up. And I was this whole last year I was Zooming with kids on the computer. I teach adapted physical education, so I had to like think outside of my box and be creative. It taught me a lot about what I can do. It taught me a lot with platforms, with technology, but it was frustrating. But I got through it, I got through it, and so here I am. We're back out in the field now, and thank goodness, but you never know when it's going to change again. COVID. I think COVID is going to be around for a while. It's still crazy, but it's better than it has been.
What has this been like for sort of like your health and fitness journey as well, dealing with all that and still having, that, because I mean, being an educator, you get up super early and stuff, and you still got to get your workouts. And I mean, how have you dealt with all that?
Well, I remember when all the gyms closed down this last year, and I was planning to do a show in July, but then all the shows were like stopped for a while, and I'm like, oh darn. So then the show that I was originally going, and I was training out of a garage and training out at my son's house, and then gyms slowly opened back up again, but you would plan to do a show. I was planning to do the Pittsburgh show, the Masters Nationals in last July, but then they canceled that, and they rescheduled it to another day, and I was like, oh, but I couldn't go to it. In a different location, all the shows were in Florida, so I was kind of bummed out. And then I found another show. I was bound and determined to compete that year, even though it was the COVID year. So I found a show at the very end. It was the Masters USA. It coincides with USA's, but it's called Masters USA. And that was, and so I did that show, but it got moved like 3 different locations. Did that in December, which was a crazy time. At the end of the year, training through Thanksgiving and all the way through the holidays. But I did it, and it was in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I went there and actually did well, won the over 50 class and won overall. So I got my pro card. So it was actually turned out to be a really good year. Despite COVID, I managed to get through my education and training and going to a show. And so I was happy.
All right, hold on one second. It started to glitch a little bit on your end for like the last part of the question. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quick hang up, and then I'm going to recall you back, and then sometimes that clears things up. So hold on one second.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Oh my God! Finally,
hey,
here we go.
No worries. Oh, I'd say move it up then a little. Move it up then a little.
We've had a lot of hiccups on this.
No problem. I'd say move it up a little bit then, because like the table's taking up a lot of the view. Yeah.
Is this good?
Yep. That is perfect now. So I'll just go ahead and just re-ask. So in 3, 2, 1. So why don't you tell us what this has all been like for your health and fitness journey over this last year and a half with everything going on?
It's been very crazy. I've had to modify and think outside of the box. With COVID, we had to train out of a garage at my son's house, and one gym would open up and then it would close. So then I would go to a different gym or go back to training at home. And it's been a lot of like this. Then I was scheduled, and with a lot of the shows closing down, a lot of people did not compete last year. And I wasn't going to compete because the show that I was going to do in July, the Master Nationals of 2020, that got moved, scheduled for a later date, and I couldn't do that. But I found another show at the end of the year, and it was a national show, and it was the NPC Masters USA show, which was scheduled to be in one location, but then it got moved to a different location. And then for the third time, because of COVID, a lot of people didn't want to host shows. And I could have just said, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to do this. It's just too complicated. Let's just forget this year. But being the determined person I am, I was like, I'm going to compete. I'm going to compete. So I ended up going to Phoenix in the end of the year in 2020 and did the women's physique over 45 and over 50 and won the over 50 category and won overall. So I got my pro card, and it ended up being a pretty good year for me, despite COVID.
What was that moment like for you when they announced your name and you realized, oh my God, I'm a pro now?
It was so awesome. I've worked so hard, and it's just bodybuilding. I've been at it for like quite a while. I've been a veteran at this, competed in the INBA, PNBA for 7 years, and then now the NPC for 4 years. So, really, if I didn't get my pro card, it wasn't a big deal because I just love to compete and I love to train. So it was just really awesome to say, oh my gosh, I'm a pro now. That's awesome. About time. I'm like 54. So I deserve it at my age. But it meant a lot to me. It meant all the years of training and stuff. Just to have that status seemed really cool to me. But, I'm just as humble as it is. I don't.
Well, 54, I'm now exactly half your age. I'm 27, so
I know, right?
She's looking better than people that I know that are my age. So, that's the benefits of working out, everyone. But have you changed things up at all in like your training and your nutrition now that you're a pro now, because now you're sort of with the big girls?
I have, I keep everything still the same. I'm just very consistent. My nutrition and I think that's the reason why I've been at it a lot of years and able to keep improving is because I've been so regimented for so many years of my life. And I just keep the basics going with I don't overdo it during the off season and gain 30 pounds. I may go up 10 pounds. I just keep everything the same. And I've actually had to learn to slow down a little bit. With my training and do different things. I've kind of had, some back issues and hip issues. So I just listen to my body. And, I think that's why I'm able to keep doing it is because I'm careful and I listen to myself,
What's one body part that you think that you've improved the most on in the last year and a half?
Oh, gosh, man. Probably, I think my legs. I needed to get my legs bigger, and I think so. I mean, I think I have a little more size. We'll see, a little more size on my glutes and my quads.
Yeah. No, yeah, and that's, for me, like I've told you people a million times, that's always a never-ending struggle for me. So I'm glad that at least that worked out for you. But what is this last year of your, this last prep season been like for you now that things have started, loosening up a little bit? And like you said, COVID, it's still around, but it's not nearly as bad. Has it been easier for you this last year than it was the year before?
Oh, yeah. I feel like this last year is so much easier. I feel like things are like almost like back to normal, but not still quite there. You still have to wear the mask sometimes when you go into certain gyms or they take your temperature. But I feel like for the most part, things are back in the groove, and I feel more optimistic, with, shows are not going to be canceled. I mean, you're seeing a lot of things on social media before all you would see with people training out of garages. But I think that the whole COVID thing really kind of taught you a lot to appreciate, what you do have, how much opportunity that we do have in the fitness industry and just everyday life where we live, So when things close down, people freak out. But, you just have, I think, in years ago before there was, I never even trained in a gym. I mean, many, many years ago, I didn't step into a gym probably till I was like in my late 30s, almost 40s. So, I was used to training at home and being creative, but.
What do these last 3 weeks of your prep look like? Because this is where everything really seems to need to get dialed in, really.
It's been, I'm getting tired, with the diet and the training and the cardio. But I'm just kind of coasting through, just staying calm, just kind of like I've done this so many times and just trying to stay healthy and get lots of rest, because this is the time where you start stressing, oh, I'm not lean enough. And, I've had some little pains and stuff with my back and my hip where I've had to modify my leg workouts and stuff like that. But just trying to be calm. And I've done this so many times, and to just kind of like, don't freak out, Shannon. You're going to make this fun and stay positive. You start looking on social media at everybody else. Oh, well, look at them. And I do me. And just think positive. And I'm just glad that I can still do this,
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, especially with everything that's been going on, that people are, still competing. Because for me personally, I mean, I would have probably just been like, yeah, I'll take a couple of years off and just see what happens. But I mean, have you found that along with this whole journey that you've been going on, this last 2 years, I mean, have they impacted you a lot more mentally than the years before? Because with so many people, I mean, I've already told people, if you can compete in a pro show, I mean, or even just a bodybuilding show in general, I mean, you've gained the mental strength that you can really do anything. But especially during these last 2 years, do you think your mental strength has increased as much as well?
Oh yeah, I so much of bodybuilding is mental. I mean, you have to the diet, the regimen, the everyday training, it can be like so tough. And then when you have like things that come up that get in the way, you just have to be so strong mentally, and not, otherwise you're not going to be able to like do it. I mean, a lot of people can't do the diet. They binge eat, or they're like, oh, this is too hard. Or I have so many athletes and I've gone to that point where they train and they're like, it's a 12-week, 16-week prep, and it's very long. And they get down to the last 2 weeks, the last 3 weeks, I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And they quit. And that's when you have to be strong, because your body's tired, you're physically tired, you're mentally tired, and you have to like, look, I can do this. I've gone this far. And I've got to that point before too. I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to bail out. I'm like, no, because all this work that you put in. So what you got to do is you got to sometimes just kind of, you got to like talk to your friends, or just kind of like, look how far I've come. So, but it can really wear on you mentally. And that's when you have to just kind of like take a time out, sit back. And, I signed up for this. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. The last part when you're tired.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last time we talked to you, you were in your off season. Now, obviously you're not. What is it like for you dealing with sort of the extra added attention that you get, especially like if you're walking down the street dressed the way that you are right now? I mean, you're going to draw people's attention just because it's human nature. They're like, oh, that's for, I mean, most people don't see that in their normal average every day. So how have you been dealing with that?
Oh, it's, like, it seems like every time I go, I train at different gyms, different facilities. And it seems like, I won't really get that much attention, when during the off season too much, but sometimes I do. But as soon as I start leaning out, like about the last, let's say 4 to 6 weeks of my show, all the way up to the end, people will start looking at me and they'll like ask questions. I just answer them. I mean, I take it as a compliment, I mean, I had some girls the other day, I was in a gym, and they were, probably early 20s, and they go, oh my God. And I was having a bad day. I was tired. I was hungry. I worked all day, and I was doing pull-ups, and, and then I still had to do like more cardio, and, it's hard, and they go, oh my gosh. And they saw that I was setting up my phone and I was trying to record myself. And they go, oh my God, can we do that for you? They go, you are goals right there, girl. You are goals. And instantly, here I am, and they said something really positive to me, and it made me feel good, and it lifted me up. And they go, oh my God, can you give us some advice? And I was like, so I took, 10, 15 minutes out of my time. And it's that feedback that you get, that you help them, they help you. And I think that's what we all need in life. We need to be nicer to one another. People need to go up and, if you're curious about somebody, ask what they're doing, So yeah, it made me feel good to actually give them advice, and they actually made me feel good. And we got contacts, and they followed me, I followed them on Instagram, and it's just those little things that throughout the day that can really make your day.
Oh, that's what I found too. It really is just the little things. And I mean, especially as you're, getting close, are you still training somewhat heavy right now, or where are you at right now in the training split? I mean, obviously you're not going to be maxing out right now that you're 3 weeks out.
No, I'm actually, this the last couple of weeks, especially this last week, I've gotten really tired, and I'm just doing a lot of high reps, because I'm doing quite a bit of cardio and not eating. My carbs are very low. So after about 10 to 12 weeks of dieting pretty hard, your body's kind of like, okay, we're tired. So I'm like, today I went and did my back workout, and normally I'd be in there an hour and a half to 2 hours. It was like 45 minutes, because I was just like, you know what, at this point you're tired, so you got to listen. So it's just a lot of high reps, and just kind of getting through, not trying to, because this is when you can get injured too.
Have you been mixing things up at all with your posing for your pro debut?
Oh yeah, I have totally changed my whole posing, like what I have learned so much, I have through the people that have been working with me, and just watching different IFBB pros. We all feed off of each other, and we watch their posing. Yeah, I've changed quite a bit of posing. Almost every pose that I think I did last year. In my previous shows, I've changed. I videotape a lot. Really changing up my side tricep pose and my chest pose a lot. Because what I've learned is you could train all you want and have the best physique. If you don't go in and pose just right, you're not going to get it. So that's what I'm doing right now, is really, every time I walk past the mirror, I'm posing.
Hey, if I looked at it, I do that too. Okay, so
Oh my God, I know, I'm very vain right now.
Hey, you deserve, especially when you're in your off season too. You got to enjoy that. You got to enjoy when you're in season, because it doesn't last forever, unfortunately. But I mean, out of all of the pros in your category, who is your favorite poser?
Oh my God, there's so many. Oh my God, what is her name? In my category, let's see. I love Brooke Walker. I think she's really cool. I love her. I love, what's that other girl's name? Her name is Bria something. I can't think of her name. She's a little Asian girl.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she's amazing. I love, I know their Instagramming Classic Queen. She's going to the Olympia.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
She does She does all the classic.
Yep.
I've been feeding off of her. I've been watching. She's going to the Olympia. Mm-hmm. She's my favorite. I hope she wins. Classic Queen. I can't think of her first. We always go by their Instagram names.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah, I follow her too.
She has amazing. There's so many that are awesome, but a Classic Queen. In fact, she's short and built like me, so she has a lot of short muscle. I love her posing. There's so many, but she's probably my favorite.
Yeah. And do you find that because you are on the shorter side, it's a little bit easier for you to retain some of this size? Because I'm 6'3", and it's just a never-ending struggle for me.
Oh yeah, I mean I use my height, being only 5'1.5", to my advantage. I mean, it's just you learn how to, short muscle is good, but it's just, they're looking at symmetry, they're looking at everything. So you don't want to be too boxy, But, I mean, definitely, being on the shorter side, you can really bend down a lot, and you can develop, if you don't have that much size in your legs, you can since you're shorter, you can make your muscles, you're shorter to the ground, you can kind of make yourself look a little bit bigger. Because you see some of these bodybuilders and they're so little, and you're like, oh my God. And then when you see these pictures, you see them in their clothes at a competition, but when you see them on stage, they look huge, but actually it's just all an illusion. Bodybuilding's all an illusion.
Do you get that a lot from people who might follow you and then meet you in public and be like, oh, you're a lot shorter than I thought you would be?
Yeah, people go, yeah, I've had one person tell me at the gym, they go, your Instagram photos, you look a lot bigger than your Instagram photos. They saw me not pumped up just in regular clothes. And I go, oh, really? Yeah.
Well, thanks for that confidence boost. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's
No, I
just
know, I know, I
funny.
know.
People are going to say what they're going to
Yeah.
say, but we all know that, you don't walk, you gym, you're pumped up, the angle, people put filters. It's just, and the stage is all an illusion too. When you're on that stage, it's just, you have, it's just all an illusion of how you pose and the lighting, it's just, like I said, it's that
Yep.
whole illusion of bodybuilding is being in the right spot and having the right lights.
Well, now that you've mixed up your posing too, what is your favorite pose and what is your least favorite pose?
Oh God, I think my favorite pose is my tricep pose. I love all. I have like a lot of different angles, and I think I look good in that pose. Um, Probably my least one, and I probably shouldn't say that, is I still struggle with my back bicep one. I don't know why. I think it's because I shake too much, and I should have that down by now. But I'm working on those daily right now. I mean, I'm going to the side. I was just going like this, and just trying to, but.
How often do you do the posing now? Is it like an hour a day or something? Because I know some people. I mean, some people it just varies per person.
Oh, it's about yeah, I'll split it up. I'll split it up into increments. I might do like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, but um to do an hour straight, that's a lot. But yeah, I mean it's a workout.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, you might even just have to stop lifting the weights then for like the last couple of weeks and just do the posing then, and that's probably enough of a workout for at least some people there.
yeah,
But
honestly it is. It's just like when you're posing for even like 10 minutes, you're tired, you're exhausted, but you get the most amazing pumps. I mean, you wouldn't believe it,
yep, no, it's I remember even just from doing the simple ones with me, yeah, that would happen as well. But I mean, now that you're looking forward to this competition season, I mean, so are there any other shows other than the first one that you have exactly planned, or are there ones that you have planned after that, or are you just going to see how this first one
Well,
goes?
I'm probably just going to do this one, the Sports Legion. I mean, they have another. I mean, we're getting towards the end of the year. You know what I mean? I always, for some reason, pick the shows at the end of the year. But actually wasn't even going to compete this year. But I'm like, no. I looked up this show, the Sports Legion in Reno, and the whole thing is a superhero theme. And I'm going, and I have a Wonder Woman posing suit. So I got the whole vision. You wait, you're going to see the pictures.
Yeah.
So to me, I have no expectations. It's my first IFBB Pro show, and I'm doing the Master Pro division, and I'm just going to have fun with it and just get the judges' feedback. And I'll probably only do this show this year, just since it's already going to be October, then November, and we'll see what happens. I would love another show that I would love to do is the Pittsburgh Pro Show, which would be in July in Pittsburgh. That's it. I'm kind of going towards the master level shows, but I actually would love to do, because of my age, I would love to do an open show, and I would love to do the show in Phoenix. The
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, shoot.
It's one of the biggest bodybuilding shows for
the
women.
Rising Phoenix.
Yeah, I would love to do the Rising Phoenix this next year, just to say I did it. Just because it's such a huge show. So that's one of my goals before I retire is to do that show. And I don't think there's a masters division, but I'm hoping maybe I can be good enough just to hang.
Do you have any specific goals already set for your off season? Even though, I mean, you haven't even competed in your show yet.
Just to get better, somehow to keep improving. I mean, it's really strange, because if anybody was to ever tell me that, oh, you're going to be doing a bodybuilding show when you're 55, I'd be like, you're crazy. I'm going to be sitting in my rocker. But so if I can just keep improving and to stay healthy, those are my goals, And hopefully, every year I seem to come in with a little more lean muscle mass, and I think it's just, my maturity of my age, and muscle maturity, and just learning what to do, and not, it just takes a lot of time under your belt to gain muscle. It's not overnight. It's it's been like 12 to 15 years of training.
Well, you talked about doing a lot of high reps. Is it a lot of it is time under tension, I'd bet?
Oh yes, I have done a lot of different type of training this last year. I've trained heavier. I've done time under tension. I've done high reps. I've for me, changing it up is the key. Is changing it up. I mean, because when you train for like so many years, your muscles get adapted to one style of training. And so honestly, this last year, I have trained a lot of different ways. And I actually started going to like a training facility here in town, and actually was training with them for a while too. I do that a couple of days a week, and it's been great. So I'm always changing it up. I'm always willing to learn to do different things, you know, and I keep learning.
Oh, I
That's
mean,
the key.
100%. I mean, even though like you said, you didn't expect to win your pro card, and you didn't, you were fine without it. But do you find like an extra added sense of responsibility, kind of, that goes along with winning that
Oh
pro
yeah.
card?
Oh no. I found that I've had more pressure on myself about like getting ready for this show because it's a pro show, and I want to come in looking polished. I want to come in with great conditioning. I want to come in. I want to come in looking like a pro on the stage the best that I can be. I'm not gonna, I told myself if I'm not where I'm gonna be, I'm not gonna enter. But I'm gonna enter. I'm getting there. But yeah, you find like you have that because everybody there is top notch. Everybody there is going to look good, and you're on IFBB Pro stage, so you wanna look like you belong there.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to ask too because obviously this year has been crazy when it comes to bodybuilding, with like some of the deaths happening and some of the stuff coming out about the sport. What was your reaction like when all of a sudden it just got revealed that, like, I mean, a lot of people have had health problems now, especially from this year. I think a lot of it's too because of like COVID, where some people were literally on like 12-month preps, where it's like obviously you shouldn't do that.
Oh.
But like,
Yeah,
what was your reaction like when you just found out about the extremes? Yeah.
No, it's a big eye awakening. I've been following all that on through social media with just a lot of the people in the industry, and mostly it's been targeted like with women and like coaches in the industry that have taking extremely large amounts of diuretics, and just their protocols have been crazy. I've followed all of this. I have a lot of respect for Stephanie Fletcher for doing this. I mean, she's awesome, and I have an awesome coach that has done awesome with me, and I'm glad that there has been eyes open, and it makes you think about, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you taking these crazy diuretics and these crazy protocols? And I wasn't surprised, from what I've seen in the industry. I'm kind of old school, and I've always been very careful with everything that I do. I have a great coach that, that has like tailored me to what I am today. And I just think that it's very educational that this is happening, and that people are aware of, these are bad coaches. This is a crazy, if you follow something like this, you're risking your health, you're risking your life. And I think it was about time that it's happened. And I know that it's been happening in bodybuilding for many, many years, but it's been kind of a hush-hush thing. And I was glad. I mean, I was very sad about the deaths of these individuals, or these people that have like these crazy, like health conditions now because they followed a coach with a bad protocol. But you have to educate yourself in this sport. You have to educate yourself. You got to have enough self-awareness to know, what, this is not right, And but yeah, it makes you think twice about what you're doing.
Well, and other than obviously, like having your information straight, is there any other piece of advice that you'd like to give someone, like if they were to walk up to you and say, like, Shannon, I've thought about giving bodybuilding a try?
Yeah, I mean, you need to like take your time in the sport. You need to do things right. To do things right, you need to like not jump into like doing anything crazy. You need to just build a lot of muscle naturally, as much as you can before you do anything crazy. And less is always better. And to always go with your instincts on who is going to guide you with the right type of coach. Because if you want to do well in the sport and you want to make it fun, you have to go slow. You have to like put your time in, train, 3 years, 5 years, you're not going to become a pro overnight, just to be very careful and to make it enjoyable, because when it becomes, it's not fun anymore, then maybe it's not for you. I literally have been able to do this a long time because I actually enjoy training, and I've been training a lot of years, and I've done my research on a lot of different things that's been going on. I don't think something's right. I get a second opinion.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I've just seen too many, especially on the men's side, where it's like these young, like in their early 20s, where they just go all out at the very beginning and they burn themselves out after like a year or two, and then it's just like, yeah, if you take, because so many people, especially my generation, we want everything now and we want it yesterday, where this is like not the sport that you should do then if you really want, like overnight results. But being that you've been in this industry for so long, I mean, this industry is one thing that changes like basically every year. There's a different change.
Oh, it does.
What has that been like for you, just seeing this evolve over your entire career that you've been doing this?
It's been interesting. I mean, there's a lot of myths, in bodybuilding about like, oh, going way back to the Corey Everson days is, like, oh, you don't want to lift weights, you're going to get big, and it's just like, no, muscle is, resistance training, weight training is good, it's just bodybuilding, the women's bodybuilding thing has gone huge. I mean, many years ago, 20 years ago, it was only just bodybuilding, and now it became more options with figure, bikini. Now it's wellness, and it's so many things have changed of just the criteria. They did away with the bodybuilding because they didn't like the bodybuilding in the IFBB Pro, but then they brought it back. So now it seems like it's almost like a little bit different now. It's getting even more publicity because of the women's bodybuilding, I still think that the judging criteria is like insane. They need to drop that because they want the athletes to be, they have their criteria, and if you look at their criteria, they say, oh, we don't want no striations, we don't want this, but every bikini, figure, physique, now bodybuilding is athletes are coming in so conditioned and almost too conditioned.
Oh, pretty soon I'm thinking that they don't even want you to have skin at all, basically, then. They're just going to have to say...
So it does make it very intimidating for a lot of people to stay in the sport because they get burned out because of the judging criteria. They go to a show and they go, oh my God, I can't compete with her. Look at her, look at me. So as long as the judges keep rewarding these conditioned physiques down to just like,
basically bones, basically, yeah.
Yeah. So I wish that it would, come in and they would go with more symmetry, more of a feminine classic physique with each category. That would be awesome, So when you go to these shows, you can't be disappointed. You can come in and they may say, well, we want you more conditioned. You come in more conditioned. And then they didn't like you were, then they say, no, well, you need to be softer. You just never know. Basically, you just gotta do this sport knowing that it's a subjective sport and it's hardcore, and you got to do it for you, because a lot of times you won't be rewarded for what you work for. Not to be disappointed, because it's just the way the judging criteria is. Unless they actually just did away with, and it was just the figure division, Yeah. They had no bodybuilding and no physique, but I don't think that's going to happen for a while.
Well, as you get closer to the show, too, what is the last body part for you that really gets into that show prep? Because everyone has that one body part that, like, they're literally hoping on the last day before the show that it finally comes in.
Oh, my God. It's my hamstrings and glute tie-in. I struggle with that. And it's just, oh, my God. and it's just like, I'm never, and it's probably every women's, the back of my legs. Just not, I'll never have the back of my legs. It's genetics. You can only do so much, but you just,
Yep.
it's just like, oh, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna be lean enough from the back. That was the feedback from the other shows. You need to come tighter. Your glutes, and hamstrings need to be tighter. And no matter how much cardio you do, how many days a week you're doing, it's like your body's gonna do what it's gonna do, and so you just learn to stand in a different way so they look tighter. You learn to like.
Yeah, I mean, you touch base on this a little bit, but I always love to ask, I mean, when you are in those moments where, you wake up, you're having a bad day, you just don't want to do your cardio, you don't want to do, I know that you really have to push back mentally, but do you have any advice for people on how to find that? Because, I mean, I do agree with a lot of people that have said before that it is something that, like, really can't be taught. You really just have to find that in you and just that kind of, like, animalistic drive. But is there anything that you do personally to help yourself get through those days when it comes to either, like, self-talk or just trying to get yourself to do something?
Oh yeah, I was like that this morning. Like, I mean, I didn't want to go do an hour of cardio, and I just was like, and I was hungry. I mean, I already had one meal, but you're hungry. You're uncomfortable, and I'm just like, okay, look. Once I got in there, I go, look, you can do this. You can do this. Okay, you've gone this far, and you got to think positive. You got to put your music on, and half the battle is getting started, is showing up, is just showing up and just being there, and knowing that you know what. It's going to be hard a little bit here and there. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be tired. You're going to be fatigued. But it's going to be way worth it when you finish. The outcome will outweigh all the pain that you endured. But yeah, it's just showing up and getting started and knowing that you're almost there. You're almost to the finish line. Just hang in there a little bit longer. Maybe call a friend up. Talk to somebody that will motivate you.
What is one meal you're looking forward to having the most after the show?
Oh my God, probably just some pasta. I love pasta and bread. Yeah, I love Italian food. Maybe like pizza, anything, ravioli, spaghetti. I just having just a ton of pasta, maybe a piece of cheesecake.
Please don't tell me you're one of those people too that like watches the Food Network while you're doing cardio, because I don't understand that.
Oh God, no. I do not watch anything. I don't even like to watch TV right now because last night I was watching TV and food commercials kept coming on. But you know what? When you're at a certain part in your prep, I mean, it's just no matter. You go to the grocery store to get your food for your prep, and you see the candy bars and you see the chips. Food is everywhere. I work at schools, so I go into the lounge. Like on Friday yesterday. They had like Fun Friday, and they had boxes of pizza at 10 o'clock in the morning, and they have like platters of cookies because it was Friday. So no matter where I'm at, there's a constant torture. I'm like, okay, Shannon, just leave. I'm all looking at the cookies. Maybe I just get a little piece.
Well, at school, what's the kids' reaction like at school as you get more into a prep?
Well, I'm an adapted PE teacher, so but kids will still like say things like, I don't know, like, oh, you lift weights, huh? And they just kind of like, give me like a little muscle like that, and just like, I'm at a specialist. So I row from school to school and I just see one kid at a time. But I will get kind of like some comments, sometimes, oh, you're looking, can you flex for us, Oh, and an example, I was working with one of my students. She's in a work for kids with disabilities. And I was at the school the other day and her aide, she has an aide, and the aide was looking at me and she goes, you're getting really buff, Miss Powell. And I had a polo shirt on. I tried to cover up, and I go, yep, I'm getting ready for my bodybuilding show. And so I gave a little like bicep like pose, and then my student in the wheelchair, she has spina bifida, bless her little heart. She goes, oh, I want to feel your muscles, Miss Powell. She was like, I go, okay.
Yeah. How much extra motivation does that give you, knowing that you work with people that have been dealt a rough hand in life? And so, like you said, you're still, lucky and blessed to be able to do this. Does that also help you just with that motivation, just realizing that, like, hey, I am so lucky to be able to do this?
Oh, definitely. My job, every day I wake up, you think you have a bad day because of something that happened. But when I go to one of my schools and meet one of my students and I see them in a mobile wheelchair and they can only lift their hand this big, and I have to do activities with them, and they'll never walk, and they have to use their head to hit the ball. I feed off of them because they're happy that I'm there doing an activity with them, and here I am able to walk, able to run, able to lift weights, and it makes me so appreciative of my life, and it makes me feel good that I'm able to have a great session with them and think of some really cool activities for them to do despite their disability. Most of them are always very happy. So it makes you feel very fortunate of what I've been able to do in my life, not just being a healthy person and, doing the bodybuilding, but, you just have a different outlook on life when you work with kids that have these severe disabilities, and they'll never be able to like walk or, live a normal life or drive a car. Some of them have cancer, but it just makes me very grateful for what I have.
Well, there's a story. When I was in kindergarten, one of the kids in our class did have cancer. Luckily they got it removed and he survived and everything. He's actually a bodybuilder now. He was in my class.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it was super inspiring, and it was funny because like his parents were both like super healthy, like fit health nuts, and I think it was just like a lump in his chest or something like that they found or whatever, and then he had to have it removed, and then he had a totally normal childhood after that. But yeah, I just so unfortunate. But how did your students, like personally, like how did some of them deal with COVID, especially being that they have like obviously those pre-existing conditions where like they really had to hunker down? Did they have any stories to you like how they because like being an able-bodied person, that would suck going through COVID, but being someone that like is so much more limited to and having to deal with this, that would just just add on even more.
Yeah, it was very frustrating for my students last year because I would Zoom with them and do, activities with them. And I could see some of the kids like in their bedroom. And for an example, one little gal, she was a 6th grader, and she has so much, and she has spina bifida, and she's in a wheelchair. And I could just notice that she was like really depressed, And so we would always do like some workout videos and some dance videos I would put on. I'd share the screen, but a lot of it was just like communicating and just like talking about things. It was like because they needed that. They didn't have that contact. So I felt it made me feel good to be able to do that with her. And I was actually seeing her like twice a week instead of once a week because I felt like she needed that. And then she was supposed to return back to school. Her school opened back up, I think. At the end of the year, they were able to like go partial, but her parents didn't want her to go. So then she was more frustrated because they were too nervous for her to go back, because of COVID. So she had to stay. So she couldn't return back to school. So that depressed her even more. So a lot of them struggled. A lot of these kids with disabilities like really struggled because, school is like a big thing for them. It's like what they live for. And then let alone being out of school for like over a year. And then with a disability, it's like double wham. Mm-hmm. So I felt like my job was even more important to really try to do something that I can like have these kids look forward to, and maybe motivate them. And because I think it was tough times for everybody, but then let alone for kids with disabilities. And she's back at school now I'll have to send you a picture of her. She's awesome.
And you're talking to the most talkative person on the planet. So how the hell do you think I dealt with all this too, not being able to talk to people in person?
I know, right? Exactly. How did you deal with it? I mean, because
Oh my God, it was bad. I was trying to call friends almost like once a week at least, and it got to the point where they're like, "Hey, you're calling way too much." And I was like, "I'm calling you once a week. I'm calling you once a week, a-hole." So it's like, come on now, but it was. For me, we had to have like with some of my friends, we had like game nights over like Zoom and stuff like that, and
I heard all kinds of people like having like Zoom parties, wine parties, and stuff, and people couldn't go out to the restaurants, but I thank God that our technology is as advanced as it is, so we were able to like get through this. Educators and students were able to do school online. Regardless, it's not the same thing, but it was like some type of contact, some type of contact where you could see each other at least on the screen.
Without this technology, I would have become like a mountain man and had like a 10-foot long beard after all this came down, and I would have just like I'd be the guy like talking to himself in the woods, and everyone's like, "What the hell's wrong with this guy?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I gotta get my words out of the day." So I am lucky at least that way. But I mean, before we do wrap things up, I mean, you have such a busy schedule, being that you're bodybuilding is a job in and of itself, and being an educator, both of them are very time consuming. So what does your average day look like? Do you like to try to get your workouts in before you go to work or after work? Or does it just depend?
It's been pretty crazy. I split it up. I try to do my cardio in the morning. I have a fitness center where I live. I try to do that. I try to do that, and then I go about, I'm going around to different schools. I might go to 3 or 4 schools in one day, and then I might have like Zoom meetings, from my office, and then I usually do my workout usually like about 4 o'clock if I don't have any meetings, or sometimes I'm at the gym late if I have meetings. And you just learn to put it in when you're when you have a full-time job and it's busy, it's demanding, and you learn to just, make your little schedule. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and you kind of just like keep doing it. Because if I signed up for this, so
Well, after the show, how hard is it for you to not binge? Because it's gonna be basically like Halloween when you get off of the show.
Oh, I know, right? Well, I'm pretty good, honestly. I used to. I remember when I first started doing bodybuilding. I remember like I was really bad, about like eating just too much and being crazy and overeating. But I've kind of learned, like it's okay. I just. I might have, like a week where I just kind of like do what I want, and then I used to kind of get back to like a routine of like eating, being normal, having a balance. It's not too bad, but I've had times where I've been really bad,
Well, it's
where I've eaten like a whole cheesecake, know.
Well, normally, it's bad enough as it is, but especially having it being like right around Halloween, where it's like, good God, it's like the people that made this show. It's like you couldn't have done it even like a week or two earlier, but yeah.
Yeah, it's going to end at a perfect time because it's going to be Halloween. I'll actually be able to. Last year, I was dieting through Halloween and Thanksgiving because the show was like December 10th or something like that. So.
That was the worst part about COVID for me, was that Halloween was on a Friday last year, which is a perfect day for it, and you couldn't do anything. I was so mad. I was like, okay, because that happens like once every like 4 or 5 years that Halloween lands perfectly on a weekend. Now we have Sunday this year, but it's like, yes, people still got to go to work the next day and stuff like that.
Yeah, Halloween should be pretty crazy this year. Yeah. It should be back to normal, but well, whatever normal is, but
whatever. Whatever. I live. Here in Minnesota, things are probably a little bit more lax than they are there in California. But, yeah, I haven't worn a mask literally. Oh, look at the cat.
Oh, this is Rusty.
Rusty?
This is Rusty, yeah.
He's already put his winter weight on, it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, he's a big one. He loves, I got Oreo, too. This is Rusty. This is my therapeutic cat.
Oh, my God.
He's the one this is what relaxes me at night is my kitty cat.
Do you have more than one, or you just have the one?
Yeah, I have one. I have one Oreo. He's the gangster cat. He's in the other room, yeah.
The most surprising thing that I've ever found about cats is that I was just looking this up randomly because I've never had a cat before. We're just a dog family, but
oh, you got to get a cat, man.
Well, my dad loves cats and he wanted one because he grew up on a farm basically, and that's all that they had. But my mom does not like cats at all, so she's.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Obviously, I wonder who's gonna win. I wonder who's gonna win that argument. So yeah, but
Well, a lot of people are allergic to cats. I'm an animal lover. I love all animals, but I adopted this cat, and this has really helped me. Really help me with my anxiety, or anytime I'm stressed out. At the end of the day, when I'm done with my busy teaching day and my bodybuilding training, this is the cat that will just sit by me and go, "Oh, it's okay."
Well, and the fact that yeah, I know it's so, but like the one thing about cats that really just shocked me most is that they're responsible for billions of birds dying every single year. I never understood that until I actually looked it up, and now I found. So have they gotten into any other animals or brought anything back in their mouths?
Oh yeah, no, Rusty's a good kitty. Yeah, he's just
Because our dog will try to go for a squirrel all the time, but it's never gotten to it. It had been one where it trapped it in like a corner, and then it didn't know what to do. So then it just like let the thing go run past it. But yeah, it's.
Yeah, cats can be really crazy. I don't think he actually brought a dead bird in the house one time. It was a baby bird, and that was like really disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, our first dog brought.
They're predators. They love.
Oh yeah. Like our first dog brought in a squirrel head one day. She didn't kill it, but it was a head. My mom's like, "What?" And I just heard my mom scream, and I was like, "Oh, so you must have brought in something funny." But yeah, so it's. Yep, and then the last two questions that I ask everyone before we wrap things up. If there's one thing that you could change about the sport of bodybuilding and everyone would go along with it, what would be one thing that you'd like to see changed?
Oh my gosh, one thing about bodybuilding. Gosh, that's a tricky one. I would love for it the judging criteria to be not so intense, the criteria to change, with as far as, as coming as conditioned,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's, yeah. Obviously, do you think that they're starting to go in the opposite direction? Because it felt like they were reaching an extreme point with that. And then some people have said that it seems like it's going down a little bit, but other people have said that they haven't reached that extreme point yet where they all of a sudden realize it.
There's been a lot of talk when all this has happened, and then it seems like, but I haven't really, I think we'll see like the Olympia's going to happen. but we all know the Olympia is like hardcore. So we'll see what happens, the outcome of the Olympia, of the judging criteria, the placings for, I'm talking like with women, and I think it's more on the women's side to see like who places, and what their physique look like, and we'll see what happens, because that's the big one. I would love it to change a little bit more, so it's not so hardcore with all the drugs in the industry, and they're just judged a little bit softer, and so they're back to being feminine. In fact, back to being classic looking, not so like manly looking. I mean,
no, absolutely. I mean, I get that, 1,000%, and
it needs to change 100%. But until the judges start judging differently, and they're rewarding the physiques too hard and too extreme.
Yep.
So until that happens, they start rewarding the physiques that are on the level of femininity with just enough muscle mass, just enough symmetry, then we'll see what happens. But that's what I would love to change, to see it come down a lot.
Yeah. And when we do talk to you a year from now, we're not going to wait a full year and a half, but when we do talk to you next year, where would you like to be at just in your overall journey? What are some goals that you'd like to have achieved by the time we talk then?
I would love to, I'm excited for this first pro show. I know it's only a master level pro show, but I would love to go in, and I would love to place in the top 5 if I could. And just have fun with it, because bodybuilding is not the most important thing in my life. It's, I have like a great family, a great children, a grandson. I have an amazing job, and I would, those are just some of the things that, I would like to see, just my life just getting better all the way around,
Absolutely. And is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to before we wrap things up?
Oh, yes. I got some really important. I would love to give a shout out to my boyfriend that has been a big supporter of mine, that has really helped me a lot, Steve Pullis, and my nutrition coach, Jim Reyes. He's been with me since 2018, and my training facility at Rip by Revis, for them supporting me. I go and train with them a couple days a week, and they have been awesome. And just all my wonderful friends at all my different gyms that I go to, my friend Michelle, and I kind of keep a small circle, but it takes an army, and it takes being in this sport. It's having support is good, because sometimes you can be alone, and it's just like not it's not fun.
Oh yeah. No, and that is just so important too as well. And again, everyone go and check out Shannon's Instagram page. I'll leave a link down below for that. I mean, buyer beware. You will get inspired to get off the couch and stop eating those Twinkies. But again, Shannon, we cannot thank you enough for coming back on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. It's been my honor. Thank you so much.
Well, again, you guys, this is Ryan Johnson, DD on the Spot, signing off. Have a great day, everyone.